No place like home. Buffy begins to suspect that Dawn isn't who she thinks she is.
We open with 3 monks running through what looks like a monastery, and they're running from something, and they bar the door, but whatever it is keeps trying to bust through.
They say they have to protect the key from whatever is following them and perform a ritual that seems to succeed right before it busts in.
2 months later, Buffy is fighting that dude from Ocean's 11, who is a vampire, and she kills him with a sharp stake and her sharp wit.
Right after she kills him, a watchman shines a flashlight in her face and tells her to leave. How did he somehow not notice her stabbing a guy in the heart and him turning into dust?
And that guy was way too nice to her for trespassing.
And as she turns to go, he tells her to take her glow ball with her, also not noticing that she clearly doesn't know what it is, so he's clearly really good at his job.
Later, Buffy's making Joyce breakfast because of Joyce's headaches and her not feeling well, and they still don't know what's wrong.
And Buffy gets jealous when she finds out that Joyce and Dawn have a book club together. When Joyce tells Buffy to go be with Giles for the opening of the magic shop, she takes Dawn.
And surprisingly, Giles, in his dumb outfit, says no one has come in yet, despite the shop being open. And I didn't expect anyone to come in. I mean, why would people go there?
And we've seen before that it wasn't exactly a bustling location. Dawn finally shows up saying that Buffy tried to ditch her, which was very mature.
And after Willow and Riley show up, Dawn makes Riley uncomfortable when she relays Buffy's talk of going on patrol solo, because Riley gets in the way.
And he makes an out-of-character X-Men reference.
Giles, you got that danger room set up out back?
Buffy shows them all the glow ball, and they decide to check it out. When Buffy and Dawn get home, they find Joyce on the couch saying her head is hurting again. Buffy's worried, but Joyce says she just needs her prescription, so Buffy goes to pick it up.
And when she gets to the hospital, she runs into that doctor from the other episode who
He was a nurse.
Oh, okay. Who, despite talking to her only once, calls her by name, reinforcing that he will be dragged into all of their drama crap.
Well, see, I thought about that, but then I was thinking it wasn't realistic that he pretended he didn't remember her name, because who would forget the name Buffy?
Well, I thought it was kind of amusing that he went all conversational as he's wheeling in this dude who is convulsing and raving like a lunatic.
Yeah. The guy tries to break loose, saying he has important instructions he has to follow, and Buffy openly uses her strength to restrain him, noticing that he is the Watchman from earlier.
In his ravings, he tells Buffy it won't do any good, and they get you through your family, which freaks her out.
And when they cart him away, Buffy tells Ben she's starting to figure out what's wrong with Joyce. But unfortunately, we don't get to see how Ben reacts to such a weird statement. We cut back to the warehouse, where one of the monks is marking something on a map when he is interrupted by, yet again, the same GoldenEye sound effect that they put in weird places.
And when it finally busts down, it turns out to be a woman in a red dress,
who playfully says she's been looking for him. At the magic shop, Giles has a very awkward interaction with customers that have no dialogue because dialogue costs money, and he is ecstatic about running a successful business.
Buffy runs in and relays the Watchman's message, saying whatever is causing Joyce's illness must be supernatural.
Back at the warehouse, the woman in the red dress has the monk tied up, and she complains about how much she hates having to be on the mortal coil, and says she just wants to get the key, but he refuses to tell her where it is. And she acts really crazy for a while, seeming to maybe talk to another personality or something.
And she moves over to a security guard who begs for his life, and she responds by torturing him with really crappy computer effects.
I thought she was sucking out his brains, maybe, but he's still alive afterward, and she says she feels better. Back at the magic shop, Giles is getting overwhelmed with how many customers he has.
Which was totally unrealistic.
Xander has a conversation with Anya about her tone when ringing out customers, and I could totally sympathize with her from personal experience.
Oh yeah, I forgot you worked in that magic shop.
But I have their money. Who cares what kind of day they have?
Xander then goes over to bother Buffy, who says she hasn't figured out anything more about her mom.
Probably because she's not a doctor.
Anya suggests using a spell to put Buffy in a trance that will enable her to see other spells. Right after Giles and Willow chime in to help explain, Buffy says she should try it, and they say it's too dangerous. So why were they explaining it all to her if it was something they didn't want her to do? And of course she says she's going to do it anyway.
When she gets home, she calls Riley to help, to make him feel like he's doing something, and he calls her out on that.
But she still says she has to be alone to perform the ritual. They agree to look out for each other instead of Buffy always brushing Riley off, which I'm sure will be forgotten by the time of their next scene together. And when Riley leaves, Buffy doesn't even tell him when he should check in on her or anything.
And before she can start the whole ritual, Dawn keeps bugging her from outside the door.
But Buffy makes her leave and gets started.
And I was surprised that her trance thing worked because she did not understand the basic shape of a circle. A circle of sand. That thing was an oblong oval at best.
And the trance turns out to basically put an Instagram filter over everything.
Oh, I said a 90s music video.
When she sees Joyce, Joyce says she feels better, and Buffy doesn't see anything unusual, but then she notices a photo where Dawn keeps blinking in and out.
So, did it mean that originally that picture was taken without Dawn?
That's a good question, because then the framing would be all weird.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought.
Well, I mean, I guess it would, because, yeah, she sees, like, the new version and the old version.
Yeah, you would think the framing would also adjust as Dawn fades out.
But we've seen that they've had trouble with framing photos before, back in Ted.
Buffy goes up to Dawn's room, which is also fading in and out, as well as Dawn herself.
Buffy says that Dawn isn't her sister, and asks what she really is, and shoves her away, telling her to stay away from Joyce, who has gone out.
Giles breaks attention by saying that the glow ball is a Dagon sphere.
And that it was used to ward off evil, specifically to repel that which cannot be named. So apparently they're trying to cash in on the Harry Potter craze.
When he asks about the trance, Buffy lies and says it didn't show anything.
Because Dawn has snuck up behind her ominously, and she says,
"Do you really think I care you're the Slayer?"
What's that supposed to mean?
Buffy leaves and finds Spike hiding behind a tree in the yard, and he has a good response for why he's there.
5 words or less.
Out for a walk, bitch.
And this scene continues his idiotic arc from that other episode where he now has feelings for Buffy.
And he points out yet again that Buffy keeps letting him live for no reason. And even when he leaves and she sees a bunch of cigarette butts next to the tree, instead of going after him and questioning him further, she just ignores it. Because that's what the writers said she should do.
She goes back to the warehouse
and shows that she is actually smarter than Willow and Tara because she brought a flashlight.
She finds the door knocked down and shit all ripped up, while Joyce makes it back home to find Dawn acting weird and offering her tea that she made herself. Cue ominous music. I mean, it's not that hard to make tea.
Speak for yourself. Buffy unties the monk as the red dress woman sneaks up on her. And Buffy turns around saying, "I'm not stupid," and then just stands there and gets smacked in the face.
There's a big fight between them, and it ends with Buffy grabbing the monk and throwing them both out the window, while the woman is mad, stomps on the ground, and causes the whole room to collapse on top of her.
And all because she broke a heel. Outside, the monk tells Buffy that she must protect the key, which is a portal that opens a door. And he says the monks tried to protect it by giving it a human form and sending it to Buffy.
She realizes it's Dawn, and that the monks implanted the memories of Dawn in everyone, and apparently took some photos too.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that they talk about, because the monk even says that they did implant the memories, but the spell seems to have altered all of reality, so I don't know. And he says Buffy must protect Dawn because she is now an innocent and doesn't know what she really is. And the strain of delivering so much exposition proves to be too much, and he dies.
Why would they make Dawn like a wild tiger or something vicious?
Yeah, or like a big, muscular older brother or something.
How about just a bomb?
I mean, if it blows up, then it still destroys itself, so I don't know. I do hope they explain more later, because if it's a key that opens a door, and they don't want something opening that door, would it make more sense to destroy it, to keep the door closed? I don't know.
Why not just banish it to the moon or something?
But then they'd have to do an episode where Buffy has to go to the moon to protect it, which could be cool, so I don't know.
That would be awesome.
And back at the magic shop, Giles offers Anya a job, which she accepts. Buffy goes home and finds Dawn and Joyce sitting together, and Dawn leaves clearly upset. But Joyce doesn't ask too many questions, because she's a great mother.
Hey man, she's got headaches and stuff. Cut her some slack. And she probably just drank that poison tea. Buffy heads upstairs, and she and Dawn have a sister talk.
Where Buffy doesn't explain at all what to Dawn would have seemed like really weird behavior, and then she gets mad when Dawn doesn't immediately accept her apology.
And Dawn doesn't explain to Buffy what would seem like really weird behavior.
And Dawn asks what's wrong with Joyce, and Buffy says she doesn't know. No place like home. Overall?
Alright, first off, I think it was a dumb idea to say yes. With no evidence that it's a good idea, I'm going to buy and run a magic shop that's actually pretty damn huge with a ton of inventory that no one will buy. But then the fact that the shop is overflowing with customers, I did not buy that.
And Giles' whole drive to get that going in the first place was kind of weird. I mean, that happened a couple episodes ago that he got all excited about it, but it doesn't really fit his character, I feel like.
Was that part of his midlife crisis?
Oh, maybe. I mean, Spike was making fun of him for being unemployed, so maybe that's it.
I liked that Dawn was more present in this episode, and the way it started where she was just getting in the way of everything and then kind of move forward with being the key or whatever. But I did think it was stupid that she had all these red herring activities and the way she was acting. Like, oh man, she's a super bad demon thing. But then it's like, no, she's just normal. She has no idea that she's the key. So she was just weird. And see, I think it would be funny if there was a character who never had anything going on, but was always acting like Dawn was acting. Where it's always like they have this ulterior motive and they're all ominous, but they never actually do anything.
Yeah, that could have been good. But probably also really confusing.
Yeah. So this demon lady is going to be a recurring thing, I guess. I doubt she perished in her Wile E. Coyote mishap. It would be really lame if that's what wiped her out. And I don't think it did. She'll probably still be coming after Dawn. I thought her weird, manic episodes were weird. And I wonder how she'll interact with the rest of the characters, not just Buffy. And Buffy actually having some internal conflict with her jealousy of Dawn and Joyce's relationship, that was good, because Buffy didn't drum it up out of nowhere and cause that drama herself. It's very interesting when the writing actually leads itself to kind of make sense. That glow ball, was it just lying by the fence? Did the Ocean's 11 guy have it?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Did the monk kind of chuck it out the window when he saw the demon lady was busting through the door?
Buffy made it sound like the monk wanted her to find it. But how would he know that she would be there? I don't know. Maybe he snuck up and put it on the ground while she was fighting the vampire and then snuck away.
I liked Anya's character growth of getting a job at the magic shop. I think pairing her and Giles together could work because they're both background characters at this point, but they both have a lot of potential.
And I like their interactions with each other.
Yeah. I also think it's good we're getting some plot movement on Joyce. And it was interesting it wasn't something supernatural. I like that. I also like that we still don't know what's going on. I just hope we don't have to wait another 3 episodes before they actually bring it up again. We should talk about it in the next episode. One thing I do not need more of is Hospital Ben. He can go away, but I know he won't. So hopefully he'll get staked or something. And then Buffy will feel all bad because she met him 20 minutes ago. Overall, I thought this episode did a lot in terms of moving plots forward, and I appreciated that. Still a lot of questions, but questions I feel like they're going to answer, not just questions they're going to throw away like they've done in the past. So I was pretty okay with this one. I gave it a B.
Okay, interesting. I gave it a C-. I agree that it was good to finally get some information on kind of the main storyline for the season, apparently, but this episode I thought was really awkwardly put together. We met what seems like is going to be a big villain, but we didn't actually find out anything about her or what she wants to do. I thought her personality was interesting, and I'm glad that at least every major villain so far has had a different personality, and I wondered if they intended her to seem like an evil version of Buffy, with her flippant attitude and overall appearance and the tantrum that she throws.
I think Faith was supposed to feel more like an evil version of Buffy.
Yeah, from the Slayer perspective, but I mean in terms of personality. And I'm surprised that Buffy already fought her directly in this one appearance. Usually it takes forever before people even find out anything that's going on.
Yeah, Adam monologued for solid 6 episodes.
Yeah, actually he did monologue to them, I think, when he first showed up, but still. We know a bit about why Dawn showed up out of nowhere, which is good, but of course, the way they tried to make her a red herring, like you said, for the majority of the episode, made her behavior not make any sense once you find out that she's not a threat. And it made it unintentionally funny when I went back and watched those scenes again. And I questioned why Buffy would leave when she knew that Joyce would be back before she would, and just leave Dawn alone in the house like that. She could have at least locked her up, or turned her over to Giles, and the fact that she didn't say anything to Giles was ridiculous. I don't know why she would hide that when she was already right there confronting Dawn about it directly, but I appreciated that Buffy was at least more focused here than usual, but at the same time I can feel that Riley drama creeping up. We got kind of a little hint of it here, but at least he wasn't in this episode that much, although that didn't really make sense either.
And it's only a matter of time before Spike's feelings are revealed and Riley's there and has to deal with that too.
Yeah, I guess it's too expensive to have Angel crossing over all the time, so they need a different love triangle.
Oh man, I totally forgot about him. Thanks for bringing him up.
Yeah, until he shows up and then we get a love quadrangle or some kind of rhombus or something.
Well, the fact that Buffy's so terrible with shapes, we'll just call it a quadrilateral and be done with it.
I guess a rhombus is a quadrangle, but anyway.
No, but yeah, if we call it a...
Yeah.
As long as it's got 4 sides, it doesn't matter about angles or symmetry or anything like that.
I'm glad they actually treated Joyce's problem as if it mattered, and Giles running the store seemed like it was supposed to be funnier than it actually was. And I wonder if that'll end up getting in the way of the writers whenever they want him to be more involved with stuff. Even here, all of his scenes were with him talking to other people while he's dealing with the store in the background. And then Spike showed up to remind us that he will show up again later.
Man, do you remember when he used to be cool?
It's been a while, but kind of, yeah. It wasn't a bad episode in terms of individual scenes, but I felt like the scenes didn't really come together very coherently. Especially, again, all the Dawn misdirect stuff. Now that they seem to have things set up for the season, at least, I hope that things move forward a bit more smoothly. I feel like I say that every episode.
I'm waiting for Adam 2.0, where he upgrades to CD-ROMs.
Unfortunately, I could totally see that happening. And the fact that they are bringing the initiative back in, even after they were shut down and everything, doesn't bode well.
And then he'll say, I've upgraded my master drive. And then the master will show up, but he'll be a digital version of himself.
Oh man, if only I could believe that that wasn't a possibility.
See, we could have written for this show.
I mean, I think if we did, it would simultaneously be stupider and better at the same time, so I don't know.
Yeah.
At least we would cut out all the stupid character drama stuff.
No way. We would just put an influx of way more. Just make it as ridiculous as possible.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking on the other end. Maybe every single little thing that happens, Buffy completely misinterprets and thinks that, oh no, Riley is like, he got two things of sugar this time in his coffee. What's behind that? And she'll stalk him through the whole episode and misinterpret everything on the way.
She would have a whole wall of her house just made of tissue boxes.
And every time Riley notices her following, he'll say, what's going on? It's just like, oh no, he spotted me, and just go and hide and just pretend that it didn't happen and wait until Riley is like, what the hell's going on? And just keeps walking, and then she'll sneak up again behind him.
So good. You just see the Emmys rolling in. And it would be a requirement by all the actors to accept their Emmys, and they'd have to cry while they're doing that too.
Gotta ramp up that drama as much as possible.
Right.
Why are you guys still listening to this? Go watch another video.
Thanks for watching.